Katy Steele, Little Birdy is what we're discussing this time. Last time it was all solo. This time it's all back together. 20 years. Does it feel nostalgic to you?
Of course, yeah. I guess 20 years, it's like you can't help but be a bit of a different person in 20 years. Be a bit weird if you were kind of feeling the same. Um, but yeah, it's been cool. Like, I don't know, just having a positive attitude towards, what something in the past. It's nice to look back and kind of go, okay, that happened at this point in time. And like, yeah, there's a few lyrics that I cringe at, but overall, I'm proud of, what we did. I was only like, 18, 19 when I wrote, well, I was kind of, some of the songs I was even a bit younger, and had no idea about writing songs and, that I was a songwriter and, I was just kind of, just gave it a shot. So, yeah.
Well, let's call in my old friend Marty McFly, because if we look at the vinyl album chart this weekend, you were number 2. Little Birdie's BigBigLove album, number 2. But not only that, number 1 album was Killing Heidi from 25 years ago, the Reflector album. So you had a 25-year-old album and a 20-year-old album at 1 and 2. That really is Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah, don't know why. Yeah, it's yeah, I've got no answer for that. I guess yeah, I guess in Australia, nostalgia is kind of coming back in a big way, isn't it? People are kind of looking to the bands, I guess, that they grew up on, and yeah, I'm just proud of it, really. I'm trying not to get too invested in I'm trying not to get too like worked up about how old it is. I'm like whatever. Like, I'm all about what's happening after this. You know what I mean? For me, it's like I'm never going to not make music. So this is just like one piece of a, hopefully a long journey. Like that just continues for me. That's yeah.
I'm guessing this is the first time on vinyl for this record.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. That was a big deal for me. I always felt frustrated that it never, that vinyl never, like we did a 7-inch when we very first started, which yeah, I actually saw something in my house the other day when I was tidying up. And yeah, and that's all we ever did, which was frustrating, I think. We really wanted to do vinyl, and the label just never wanted to kind of pay for it. So we've done this completely independently. I myself actually have organised all of that. So I'm really proud of myself. And yeah, as a band, we've invested and yeah, just doing it independently, and currently only selling them at the shows. So yeah, we're really happy that we came in at number 2 because that's awesome. It's huge.
Yeah, so the shows, Little Birdie is yourself, Simon Leach, Scott Barney O'Donoghue are the original members of the band. No Matt Checker, he's off touring the world with Tame Impala these days, living in Canada.
Yeah.
But you do have the nucleus of the band. It is the actual original lineup. The 3 guys, well, the 2 guys and one lady who played on those 3 records who were out doing this tour.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a bit odd, I think, not having the original members. It's a band. It's always been a band. Obviously, I was the front person and the main songwriter and kind of, I guess, the face of the band. But, when you listen back to that record, I mean, there's a lot going on sonically, and that's because, the 3 members, they're great musicians, really great. And, when I started, like I wasn't I was a great songwriter, but I wasn't a great musician. I'll admit that. It's very hard for me to admit.
Give all those awards back. You don't deserve them.
But I definitely had a lot of drive, and I knew what I liked and what I didn't like, and there was a good balance there, but like I really have to give credit to the guys for being great musicians. Yeah.
When you sequence an album, you don't necessarily put those songs in an order that makes sense for a live show. When you do a live show, consequently, it's like listening to an album on shuffle. Going back and doing this album from track 1 through to track 12, does it fit for you as a live band to just perform the songs 1 to 12 like that?
Yeah, it actually does. It's pretty draining. I'm not gonna lie. Like we've only played two shows so far, and after the first show, I was like, I couldn't even stand up. I was absolutely exhausted because we play the whole record and then we have like a minute break just for everyone that's coming this weekend. We walk off and then we come straight back on and then we play like a whole other set. So we play like another eight or nine songs. So it's yeah, it's a huge set. And but it's just amazing. At the end there, we kind of really just go through some of the other records, well, the other two records, yeah, and it's just it really builds, and it's just yeah, it's just really kind of enjoyable to kind of go through the different genres. Like we were such a I think we were quite an eclectic band. I think that's probably why we were never like huge. Like we were sizable band, but we never, we weren't filling out arenas, obviously. But I think that it's got a lot to do with the fact that like the songs are just they're very one minute you've got like a Beatles kind of ballad, and then the next song is like a full on Radiohead like emo like rock song. It's very varied. And I think I've realized that like from playing the album and all the albums. Yeah, we're a very varied band. I think. I mean, would you agree?
There was a time, and particularly around that 2005 era, where there was a lot of new and indie music coming through in rapid succession. So you were actually forming at a very exciting time in Australian music.
Yeah, totally.
The second album, Hollywood, came out in
Yes.
2006. So that's 20 years next year. Is there plans for a 20th anniversary tour
Whoa,
of that album?
maybe. Maybe we should. Haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest. I'm just still trying to get through this one. But yeah, that would be cool, actually. That would be really cool. Yeah, I think so. Why not?
Yeah. And then wrap it all up in 2029 with the Confetti album tour.
I don't know. Like, yeah, but I also think it's really important for if there's anyone listening today to know that like we want to make some new music. It's really important for us to not be a nostalgia act. I don't want to be like doing the RSL circuit soon, like some other bands. Like we're not interested in doing that. We're doing this as a one-off. And yeah, we may do like other album tours, to celebrate it, whatever. But it's important for our fans to know that like this is just the first, hopefully, just the first step of hopefully us being like around, like we want to do a new record and we're already kind of working on that, in the background. It's hard because we all live in three different states, but I've already got like a folder of memos that so that's really important for me, I don't want to be some nostalgia act that just, does the cash grab thing. It's important that people know that we we're still creative uh people and we have a lot that we still want to give, and obviously that between with me it's like I've got to balance that with my solo career as well. So for me it's going to be differentiating like which avenues I pursue at certain times. So that's exciting as well. Just want to be busy.
So there could be a Little Birdie album, the fourth Little Birdie album in 2026.
Well, you heard it here first. Let's hope. Need some deadlines. Need some deadlines, people.
Big Star, your solo album, your last solo album was in 2023. So yeah, you must be considering another solo record as well too at the moment.
Yeah. It's been a while, and I definitely know in my head, and I've got all these songs. I definitely know the sonically like how where I want to go with it. but yeah, I'm just kind of because I've been doing, this tour has been so hands-on because we're self-managed and independent. I'm kind of, yeah, waiting to kind of get this done and then I can kind of freshen the palette and then I will hopefully be starting work on, yeah, my solo album and the Little Birdie stuff. So yeah, just kind of it's I think any, modern musician now will tell you the same thing that it's really one of the most challenging things is just finding the balance between doing all the admin and the stuff that you have to do, content, all the things that we love, advertising and all that stuff. It's how we make money now is through selling tickets. So it's a priority most days that you're on top of, the sales and the shows being successful. And then, when you get a chance, you have to prioritize your creativity as well. But, it's 2025, so sometimes, the creativity gets pushed to the side and you have to focus on, the money stuff.
I recently only discovered that Little Birdie took your name from the Ween album, Pure Guava. Who was the Ween fan in the band?
It was actually my ex-boyfriend that came up with that name and I stole it.
So he did do some good.
It was the best thing I ever got from him, to be honest.
Well, it's actually quite fortunate that you went with that song title off the album because some of the other song titles on that album were Flies on My Dick, Poop Ship Destroyer, Touch My Tutor, and Hey Fat Man Asshole. So congratulations. Little Birdie was the correct decision.
Yes, I agree.
That could have been ugly. There was the REM tour of 2005. What are your memories of that?
Just that it was super surreal and amazing, and it's probably like one of the highlights, of my whole career, really, because I think we just got back from Tokyo, or we're heading to Tokyo, like straight off the back of that, and it was because our album was getting released in Japan, and it was just like it was just such an amazing period in my life, in all of our lives. It was just things were really amazing. Yeah, so I was kind of more excited to hang out with Bright Eyes, to be honest. I was a huge fan and still am. Not so much his recent music, but yeah, I was such a huge fan back then, of that record. I can't remember which one it was, what it's called right now, but yeah, so that was cool. I got to hang out with him a bit. Yeah.
That was the last time REM ever toured Australia.
Was it?
Mm.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, we were pretty lucky to get that tour. I think it was, yeah, one of our, yeah, someone was in the background was pushing for us, and I think it's a really great thing that they're trying to, that thing that they brought in, Michael's Rule, I think it was called, about how, Australian bands should be on tours. I think that's awesome initiative. Yeah.
Mm.
It's important that we support our local artists as much as we can.
Well, in the meantime, Big Big Love has been toured around the country. So Adelaide will get you later in the week, and then a couple of dates in Melbourne on Friday and Saturday night, and then up to New South Wales for the following week for Newcastle, Wollongong, and Sydney, and then back to Perth. And that ties up the tour on the 9th of August. So, yes, away from the family for the next month, I'm afraid. There, Katy.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty spread out, so it's kind of I'm just kind of doing my FIFO shifts, is how I see it. Flying in, flying out. And yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, it is hard leaving my kids, but it's also, it's my job, so they're kind of used to me kind of going every now and then. So yeah,
Are
it's
they
important.
old enough to understand what mum does for a job?
Uh yeah, sometimes. Yeah, yeah. I mean, my 7-year-old knows, and she sometimes says, "Mum, are you famous?" which is funny. She's like, "Hey, look, said you're famous." But it's not really famous, but yeah, it's yeah, they just you know what kids are like. They just they don't really care. No.
We're all legends in our own lunchtime, Katy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Little Birdie on tour playing the Big Big Love album in its entirety from start to finish. Oh, before I go, I didn't ask you about 6 months in a leaky boat, split ends.
Oh man. Whew. That's a real moment in the set. It is awesome. It sounds so good.
Thanks for talking to us, Katy.
All right, no worries. See ya.